if you something product questions, because the service is a whole other thing.
I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented and the January 11th minutes as presented, unless anybody is interested in amendments, corrections, or typos. If none, do I hear a motion to approve?
I so move.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. The agenda is presented and the minutes of January 11th approved as presented. Just for the sake of the business owners, they don't have to listen to our boring meeting all night long. If you would like, I'll plunk you up to now if you want to just come up and say why you're here.
Sure.
And then we won't be putting you to sleep.
Chad, you're the only one with a copy
I am.
of the business license.
Go ahead and talk on it. Pass them.
Oh, I'm going to present basically. Hi, I'm Paige Urbanek.
Delegated to your assistant.
And this is Sierra Musgrave. She's my manager for the Urban Talk. Most of you may have seen us. We are actually currently located just down the road, right next door to Casey Sushi. We've been there 10 years. And we were just looking to make a move to a little bit of a smaller place with a lower rate of rent. Yeah, because we've established this business and we're pretty much well set. I just turned 40 and I'm trying to kind of back off a little bit. So we're trying to just manage what we have instead of getting huge. We don't want to get huge. That's not our plan. We would like to just remain, a business that focuses on quality of pets and care of our clientele. I don't know if any of you know me personally or my staff, but we have a pretty good reputation of being pretty awesome. We take good care of our facilities and we take good care of our pets and we take good care of our clientele. So, but we would like to move in.
I'll ask you some questions with you again. Maybe tell us where you're going to be and if you've already got your lease in place and if you're already there or this stuff we might think is important.
Okay, so we're asking to move into 7526B, Northwest Prairie View, so right across the road. We are not currently in there yet, but we have begun construction. Our lease is in place.
Okay.
And we would like that to be where we are. We prematurely moved the sign yesterday, but we're hoping that everything goes well.
When are you hoping to be in there by?
March 1st is what I'm hoping for.
What kind of car parking requirements are you going to need? Is there enough adequate?
There's adequate parking for our staff, yeah. And most of our clientele, they come and they drop off or they pick up and then they leave.
So there's not much.
Yeah, there's not much like clientele parking that just is consistently there throughout the day. It's usually in groups. In the morning, everybody drops off between 9 and 9:30. And then they just sporadically come and pick up their dogs throughout the day. Some of them stay for daycare throughout the day, so everybody's gone by 5. Our business operation will be only Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on those days.
Any other questions of the board? Anybody have a dog?
Baby cats too.
We do.
Oh.
Yes.
They're brave. They've done Walter for Walter.
Are you guys on?
That's right. I knew I recognized you.
Are you guys on geese and foxes and bobcats?
I will tell you that the foxes are my nemesis. I have chickens and bobcats. I appreciate them. When I'm hunting, I like to watch them. The geese, I really I'm not going to tell you.
They just work right
Yeah.
up.
They just kind of work their way around. I know we pass them every day coming in. And
We had 100 in our front yard last
Oh
week.
my gosh. What do you do with all the doo-doo? I mean, just let it happen.
Deal with it.
Yeah, you gotta deal with it.
Please go play fair.
Yeah, I bet.
Unless there's any other questions, I don't know if there's anything else we need to know. I can't see a reason not to have a motion to approve Urban Paw LLC and issue a business license. Is there a so moved?
I so moved.
And a second?
One second.
All right, you're good to go, guys.
Thank you.
Well,
Glad
I'll
to
talk
have
over
you.
and visit you, and Jessica's got a fancy look
Oh,
today.
John, I'm gonna pull them to the back and have
Yeah,
a quick conversation
why
with
don't
them
you
about
do that?
something, and then they can,
And we'll fill up the schedule until you get back.
sorry,
Since Will had to step out, let's go ahead and move to Alderman remarks and committee reports. Any Aldermen have any
Mayor?
remarks, comments?
Do you want to do court report?
I'm gonna wait, we'll do Will
Okay.
and Will.
I don't,
I do have one thing. I was curious when we were gonna send out the sewer bills to the city. I've seen a couple people asking about that.
they went out a week ago.
You didn't get yours because it's in your packet.
All right.
Save the stamp.
The residences, I think, went out last week.
But everything else went out. The ladies came up
I
and
know.
you got
Excellent.
This is in your packet too.
And I added mine to yours.
Oh, is that what this?
Well, actually, we just gave you both of ours.
Oh, it's getting expensive to live here.
Welcome, welcome.
Well, you know, it's an initiation.
Oh, okay.
Anything else, Whitney?
No, that's it.
Larry? Jane?
No,
Miss Committee Chair?
Well, the park has heat, woo! And you were just up there Saturday and said it's working well.
Looked great.
So that is the big news at the park, and we're grateful to have the new furnace put in. It looks great, and we're put in the process of putting a deadbolt lock on the furnace door, so that there can't be any mistake when people are looking for things. And so I think that'll be real helpful in keeping things secure.
And I think we're also gonna put a thermostat guard
yeah.
on it
Yes,
too.
yes.
We're gonna put
Which we already,
on?
what? Thermostat guard, those plastic covers that we have right there.
One thing I would say is that it was set at like 70, and in the area where we had food set up, it was comfortable, but on the other part of the house, it was very warm. So we had to shut it off for the entire time we were there. So I don't-
Which area, other area, you talking about
So-
the big area in the middle?
Yeah, the big area in the middle was really, really warm, and the other part was comfortable. So it was really cranking on one side of the house, but I'm not sure how you monitor that, but we did have to shut it off.
And that's fine, just your notification, that central room is served by both furnaces. So both were having money at the same time. We may need to talk to the other tenant and have him turn this down, because if his is cranked up to 75, it's gonna push it
Yeah,
down.
and he was there as well, doing his music lessons, so, maybe we can even put a little sheet on the thermostat to let people know what's going on.
I tend to keep it cooler, because when you get people in there, it gets hot anyway. So I only started at 62, and by the time everybody gets in there, it's 68.
When I left it ready for you, it was on 68. So how it got up that high, I don't know. Somebody touched
Body
it.
will do that. Let's just keep it at 62
Yeah.
and see what happens. Because by the time you get 30, 40 people in there, it only takes like 30 minutes to get up to 5 degrees.
But to your point, if he was changed the thermostat on his side, we wouldn't know.
Right. Correct. And at one time, he had bumped his up, ours was broken, so we had heat coming into the well, that's a good comment. We'll deal with that.
I'll talk to Martha.
Anything else?
That's it?
I have a question about that. Last month, we talked about potentially a new air conditioning unit. Is that,
We didn't need to do that, and it was working, so we just went and did a furnace only.
I just didn't know if that was part of what Rescue was gonna be looking at, or that was a
Just
separate thing.
furnace. With no other questions or comments or any of that, we'll move on to the financials. The treasurer had to step out, so she asked me to fill in. I'll give everybody a chance to look at the January budget report, the year-to-date, and the cash flow sheet. And if there's any questions, and then also ask for a motion for pay bills resolution 020824.
Thank you so much.
And everybody is ready and has studied it.
Before you all get too far into the pay bills resolution, Larry asked a question before we started about the paychecks for everyone. So just so that everybody's on the same page, one of the payroll was due and I wasn't here that day, so Chief Burns helped out and he clicked the option for you all to get your half pay that you get when we don't have a meeting, but he did not unclick your regular pay. So for this doesn't apply to you, you got a paycheck because we had to get you caught up from, once I got you entered into the system. Everybody else, I'm gonna have to go back and look, but basically nobody got payroll on the first of the month, like they typically would, just so we could get you all even. I have where everybody stands if you want to, we can talk about it if you have questions about it, but otherwise, that's why you all didn't get paid.
While everybody's looking at it, I'll just make a note that on the year-to-date, you might notice that we're below expenses and what we projected because we had expected that we would have to put 75,000 out so far to the date for the bike trail stoplight thing. When we met, must have been in December with the engineers. They're just going to wait until they are shovel ready, and that's when our first payment will be. So those numbers are going to be out of line for about 6 months.
the difference between anticipated park donations and actual, is there a change in like, we go one large donor or is that an average expected?
That in the year to date.
It's the October to January, yeah. It says we intend to expect 11,000 donations in this budget. I just wondered if there was like one known donor or if that's just something we would attempt.
That's a one-time thing we anticipate. It hasn't hit yet.
Oh,
Because we've got a couple benches left that haven't been, marked, is that the right word? So, the benches, so when they do, that would be thrown into the donation pot.
gotcha.
Any additional questions on the financial reports or the pay bills resolution? If not, we've got a motion to approve pay bills resolution 020824.
I so
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, pay bills resolution 020824 passes as presented. We will backtrack up to police activity.
First off, I do want to explain what I was talking to Urban Paul. There has been an ongoing issue with Google Maps, Apple. They say that the path through that parking lot is a road, and it's not. That's been one of the things we've been dealing with. I've been speaking with the owner for months now. He's taken it off of them before, and now it's back on there. We can't figure out how to get it. So they do have signs on each side of the road, on each side of the entrances to the parking lot saying, hey, you can't cut through this. It's a citation. We have issued citations for it in the past. But right now, with that being an issue with them being on GPS saying it's a road, I can't write citations. I can't in good justice write these citations and say, hey, you did something wrong. And I wanted to explain to them that's what I know is going to be one of their major issues. It's also a spot where some of the businesses around here, if they take a break, they go there and take a nap in their car. And I told them if that's something they want to be taken care of, I can take care of it as well. We haven't really addressed it in the past, mainly because it's a private property and it's not one of our enforcement things, and the owner doesn't really care unless it's an overnight stay on a vehicle. Going into our calls for service reports, I also want to state that these numbers are incorrect. I know they're incorrect just by looking at them. I did a lot more calls than this just in January myself, and I'm going to talk about that as well. Alarm calls, we had nothing. We had 2 EMS and fire assists. That number is actually higher than that. Sometimes with 911, we don't get paged to them because it goes to Kansas City. It's something that I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to add them to our numbers. Assist outside agency is also very incorrect. I went to several calls to assist deputies and language translations for side of the road. I even got called in while I was off duty, and I'm going to try to figure out how to get that also on here. Welfare checks was also incorrect. I did 2 myself that I know that we've done. Crimes against persons, 0. Crimes against property, 2. They were all nothing involved with the city. They were accidents, but that is also a number that is incorrect because I know for a fact there were 4 packages stolen from people's porches from Amazon. I did a report on one of them, and for some reason that didn't come up on our list, and the rest of them were all posted on Facebook that I never got reported to me, but I know that they happened. Disturbances went up from last month. Miscellaneous reports went up. Those are more informational for off-duty stuff. I think that's where some of my mutual aid is going to. We had 2 accidents. The accidents is going to go up when it's colder. I'm not sure why it did it this time, because in the past our accidents have been very high during these months. Motorist assists and abandoned vehicles went up, and traffic stops averaged in about 8. That number is also incorrect, and I'm going to address why that is in a second. We had a total of 29 calls. That is on record. Also, with the month of January, I was contacted by Sergeant James Pierce with the Kansas City Police Department. The state of Missouri came out and said they're losing over $100 million in revenue from DOR for license plates. Everybody's driving around with expired plates. We understand that that's our fault, the police department's fault. We gave everybody a huge leeway during the pandemic, and we just haven't been able to catch up to it. He made contact with a special agent with DOR who confiscates those plates, reaches out to the people who they belong to, and tries to get them on a plan to figure it out. And he also, if it's a huge issue with them, he can actually go after them for tax evasion as well. So Sergeant James Pierce wanted to do an entire Northland-wide attack on Saturday. We did it on January 6th. When I was looking through our numbers as well, just looking at last year, approximately 48%, give or take some numbers there, were expired plates and unregistered vehicles. So I said gladly, I came in on my day off and did it. Totaling, they did 271 citations, 81 warnings were given, 5 temporary tags confiscated, 23 license plate confiscated. 1 summons was for obstruction and resisting. There was a felony warrant, and an out-of-state warrant, and a firearm recovered. Being part of that, our number that we did, I gave out 5 warnings, and anything. The agreement we made when we did this attack was we needed to all set a boundary on what it was. It was 1 month expired, then we were going to write citations. If it was 6 months expired, we're going to take the plates off the vehicle. Within that, I gave out 5 warnings. I recovered plates from 5 different vehicles. And the oldest one was coming out in 2021, and I wrote 12 citations for those stops. The oldest completely recovered was a 2013 plate, and it was by a deputy in Plattewoods. So I was there with them because I was the only officer who had the security bit to get the plates off of the vehicles.
And by Will's number, you see that we've been paying 50% of our contingent is going into that. So we're trying to keep in line with what the OR requirements are.
We are also conscious that it is an issue with incomes, people's incomes as well. That's why the special agent with the DOR will work with people. He tries to set them up on a payment plan, gets their cars up to date, he tries to figure things out. He just doesn't attack them with citations and fines and everything, which was, to me, was a good idea. And I know Kansas City got a lot of backlash for it, but honestly, when you speak to him, it works out, and he's actually reached out a couple more times for probably setting up some more days where it's nothing but that.
When you say setting up dates, is it just like you're out on the roads and just looking for?
Specifically that one thing. It's kind of like when we do grants for stuff like that. We'll do grants where we're looking for DUIs, we're looking for people who are speeding, people who are going through stoplights. He wants to set up, we can't get a grant off of it for some reason, but he wants to set up so that this is something specifically we focus on. And certain days in the future he's already reached out to, and I'm all for it. Also within the month of January, I sent out several letters, and I actually had one for the city as well, for ordinance violations. We need to get rid of those logs at Imison.
Did somebody come by?
I know, it was a conversation I had with Jessica. She said I couldn't write the city a citation.
City
I bet I
attorney.
can.
I said, I don't think you can issue a citation to yourself.
Watch me.
Who's gonna pay you?
I don't know.
It looked like Keith was yesterday.
Yeah. An individual contacted me Tuesday and was interested in picking them up, and so we told them, yeah, go ahead, but I haven't seen any activity.
No, he was there.
We thought it was Keith. When
We got a call here on
yesterday.
Tuesday.
Right.
We said, yes, please help yourself. And he was there within 20 minutes loading stuff up. I haven't been by there. I don't know if he took all of it or not. But
And now that the weather's better, I was in contact with the tree guy yesterday. He called me. I said, yeah, so probably everybody's going to get the wood, got the wood. So, now that the weather's good and it dries up, so he's going to pick it up here pretty quickly.
I think when we went by, he was working on one of the stumps and there were only like 3 left.
And there's still
Yeah, a lot of it's gone.
Or there's some in the
I did
back.
notice
There's some on the
there's
trail.
some in the back as
People
well.
want it, and in the middle.
Okay.
I
Well,
think Kathy, and there's still some in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting us to keep having good weather. This is our fall spring. I live in Missouri, I know what it's like. So I am giving everybody an extended grace period on getting some of these city ordinance violations fixed. A lot of them are just like parking in the grass, or you have a tree that fell down. With the last snowstorms, we had several trees that fell down. The last thing I do want to talk about is, I know this has been an issue in the past. I've heard the stories about one of the old chiefs getting left a message saying, hey, somebody's backing up a truck to somebody's house and putting stuff in the back of the truck. I'm not sure if it's them. And then a week goes by and he goes, oh, I got that message. I just realized it. You have to call 911 if there's a problem. It happened as recent as today. I was out doing something and there was a chain where somebody called somebody else and somebody called somebody and then they called me. And I was not in a great position, and I had to head out there. It's another reason our numbers are off. I'll answer the phone for anyone I can if it's something, but if it's a 911 issue or an emergency issue, like today it was someone hit my mailbox and they're stuck on the side of the road. I just want somebody to deal with it. I'll come, no problem. But it messes with our numbers, and it's one of those things where I can't always be on my phone. And the fastest way to reach me is to tell dispatch. Because if I'm on a stop, I have the radio, they can reach me, it's a lot easier. There was a theft at BP that wasn't reported, an armed theft, that I didn't know about, and I didn't find out about it until a week later. That's one of those things where like, hey, you should call 911, not call this person to talk to this person to talk to this person, and then a week later someone goes, oh, hey, this happened. Can't do anything about it now. And again, I know this is a constant issue with the city. It's a small town type of mentality. You know, and I love it, but at the same time, we're a small town, we're stuck inside of a big city. And that's where things are going to turn around on us.
And I'm going to reinforce, I do this twice a year anyway, usually at the HOA or the social club meetings. We have a police force, we have dispatch, call 911, and even if it's not an emergency, tell them it's a not emergency and have the duty officer call you. Don't try to hunt Will down and figure out where he's at. Call 911, let's get it on the record, we'll get in the numbers, and that way we've got protection and point in the sand, we know what's happening, and we can respond a lot faster on the radio. So I just want to reinforce that again. I'll probably say it again in the call.
Yeah, and the big, even if you want to call the non-emergency number to the police department here, after about 3 or 4 rings, if we don't pick it up, it sends it to dispatch. So it's another fast way to get a hold of you. You get a hold of anybody who has a radio.
You know, if he's out on a stop, his phone's likely in the car and he ain't going to answer. So go through dispatch. 911, that's what they're getting paid for. That's what we all pay property tax for. So let's use it. Thanks, Will. That was great.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, the citations are way down. I know one month they were up like over 150, and now they're down 10 to 20. Are they ever going to go back up?
They're going to go back up. The issue with that is the weather. And I mean, this radio has been on the entire time we've been at this meeting. And I've sat here for a while. It's just been dead pretty much. Everyone has nothing really going on right now. The weather does affect everything. The rain, the snow, everything. It's just this time of year is low.
Thank you, Will.
Sure.
Jessica, report, please.
Her report. Much to report. We have for the month of January 10 filings, all traffic related. Again, we've continued to work, so we don't have involvement in this, but as I understand it, there's an issue with the prosecutor's portal. Basically, we're still trying to streamline how they get from the police to the prosecutor to us and what it is about certain citations that are getting hung up. So there may have been more than 10 filings, they're just not officially through into show me courts where they count on the court numbers. Again, this is also impacted by, we're still playing catch up from, you know, when we didn't have dispatchers. I mean, we're just seeing, it's just, yeah, it's, we all kind of anticipate these numbers to continue to go back up eventually. So 10 tickets, 10 citations filed officially. We had 13 cases disposed of and revenues of $1,313.44, which is one of the lower, it's about the lowest number I can recall seeing in a while. So we had court Tuesday, fairly low turnout. I mean, we kind of, I don't know what the rhyme or reason to it is. We had a period where people were showing up for court, taking care of things, and now we've kind of gone back into, we're having to send out a ton of summons, things go into warrant status, and they just kind of languish until, that's the other problem with dispatch and staffing shortages. When people do get stopped and they have a warrant out, if it's for something like expired tags, the stopping agency, if they get stopped by Kansas City, the Kansas City will just advise them they have a warrant and go take care of it. So until across the state we kind of get in a better position to